Welcome back. We've got Chef Anthony from Pittsburgh High School Culinary Arts in studio this morning with us, and we are making pasta.
We're going to make homemade pasta, show you just how easy and how simple it is to do. And then later this morning, we're going to turn that pasta into raviolis.
Oh, sweet.
So first thing that you need is approximately 180 grams of flour, or about a cup and a half.
Cup and a half of flour.
2 eggs, right into the middle. Create a little volcano in the middle to hold your eggs.
Okay.
And make sure you don't leave any shell in there.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. A little crunch in your pasta.
Yeah, it tends to be just a little different. Just a few drops of oil.
Okay. What kind of flour are you using?
I'm just using all-purpose flour. Makes life real easy, real simple for this. You don't have to stress over it. Depending upon what I'm making, I have used bread flour, but you don't want to use things like cake flour or anything softer, less gluten inside of it. Almond flour, a little bit of salt. Almond flour tends to be just a little on the weird side, so you have to be very, very careful with it. But you can do it with almond flour for somebody who's gluten-free.
Okay.
So we have everything we need inside. Now here's where you can actually season up your pasta if you wanted to. All you have to do is add something like this to it. You can add espresso powder to it. You can add cocoa powder to it, and freeze-dried fruits.
Interesting.
If you want to get an underlying flavor, you can do whatever you want to add flavors into it. But we're going to pop our yolks and start in the middle and just start mixing. And we're going to fold the flour up into it. You are going to make a mess with it. It's an inevitability. It is going to happen. So don't even worry. I do this on a cookie sheet just so I can kind of keep the mess contained a little bit. But don't worry about the flour too much. Don't pile on 3 cups of flour with only 2 eggs, knowing that the pasta is only going to take so much flour, because you're going to end up drying it out.
Okay.
So 2 cups is about the magic number. And the most that you can add to this just depends on the quality of your eggs.
You're doing a great job keeping everything in your volcano. Only a little bit of eruption on this side.
Yeah, I love doing this with my students. This is one of the very first things that they learn to make. First kitchen lesson is butchery, and then they roll right into pasta. So it's always an interesting experience when they go through and start making their pasta, because they flavor them. They come up with some great ideas. Cocoa powder with a strawberry simple syrup gives you this nice chocolate covered strawberry.
Oh, that's interesting.
Style flavor. Not everybody's into the chocolate thing, but we've also used espresso powder to create a coffee base. And as you can see, it's starting to thicken up just a little bit.
Are you going to eventually get all of the flour into there?
Not all the flour is going to go into it. It's only going to take as much as it wants. So you can just work with it a little bit, give it a little bit of finagling. And I always make a mess with this. It doesn't matter. And I've done this with my partners over in Springfield at the ACF, and they always laugh at me because of how big of a mess that I make. But my ratio is 1 to 10. So 1 batch out of 10 doesn't work right, which is better than some of the other professionals that I work with who 1 in 3.
Oh.
So
it seems like a lot of wasted product.
Well, it's just one of those deals. There's a lot with the weather. If you were to try to do this with the heat that's outside, if you don't have air conditioning at home, you're going to have a hard time getting anything to go together. It's going to get real dry real fast. So you just kind of learn to adjust.
What temperature, like 70 degrees?
70, 74 degrees, somewhere in there is a really good temperature to work on with this at.
But if you're trying to make pasta in 90-degree weather,
yeah, you're going to have a hard time.
Interesting.
So, and there we go. And as you can see, it does stick, but it comes together really nicely. And it's not real hard. And there we have our pasta ball.
Okay. How many raviolis can you make out of a pasta?
It depends on which size that I make. I think we're going to get probably 6 or 7, maybe 10 out of this.
Okay.
Because we're going to do some really nice stuffed raviolis.
Okay.
So we're not going to cut any corners. But it shouldn't be falling apart on you. If it starts to fall apart on you, then you have too much flour. And then all you have to do is just kind of work it just a little bit more. It should be a little on the soft side, A little softer than Play-Doh.
Okay. So is this this pasta ball ready to work with right away, or do we need to refrigerate it?
We're going
or
to let it sit for 30 minutes.
let it sit for 30 minutes. Okay.
So it has a chance to rest and come back and pull itself together.
That should time out almost perfectly for when you come back on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. When you come back, that's when we'll make our ravioli.
Yes.
And I understand you've made some homemade sauce.
Yes, I did make sauce from scratch. We're going to talk about how to make a good base marinara sauce. It takes a while to make, about 2 hours, but once you make it, it's wonderful. Once you've done it the first time, you know how to do it and how to adjust it. So
Looking forward
it's a lot
to
of fun to
that
make.
as well. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and go to break. Let your pasta ball set. And do you need to cover it or anything like that?
I would
while it's
cover it in
setting?
plastic every time. I tell my students, we wrap them in plastic and then use them the next day, but wrap it loosely in plastic so that there's no extra air inside of it, and just set it aside on the counter. Go about making your filling or start your sauce, whatever you need to do, because fresh pasta cooks in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, sounds good. We will be right back.